Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. Got a great video for you today. It's testing dangerous prison life hacks. The YouTube channel is called I Did a Thing. Well, I watched this video and I kind of laughed a little bit, but we're gonna get into this video right after I just show you my book, Gangster Redemption. Make sure you check it out. Also, check us out on YouTube member programs, Patreon member programs. We got some great stuff. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway of a PlayStation 5. So we got a lot coming up here. Make sure you just subscribe, pass it on, do what you're gonna do, and enjoy these videos. I enjoy these videos. This is gonna be one people that I really do enjoy. But we're gonna check it out right now because I'm gonna tell you the truth about it.
Here are my top 3 prison hacks if you ever find yourself locked up for a crime you didn't really think was that bad. Oh, and you're also in a prison that for some reason lets you watch YouTube.
His top 3 prison hacks. I don't know, everybody. It's gonna be good.
Tip 1, how to make hooch. This first life hack isn't just for people that want to forget they're in prison. So the first thing you need are some oranges.
All right, you do need a lot of oranges. Doesn't have to be oranges. It can be grapefruits. Any fruit that has got a lot of sugar, actually.
You need a lot. So grab your oranges and any other fruit you can scavenge, like an apple or a carrot for fun, because I've never heard of carrot alcohol before. And peel all of them. And it tastes better if you can get the peel off the orange in one go. Then chuck them in a watertight bag or some container. Next, grab anything with lots of artificial sugar, like these peaches in syrup, or this jar of artificial sugar, and dump in a good amount. I presume people in prison don't measure things.
Yes, we did measure things. We knew about how much sugar to put in. It was usually a pound of sugar per gallon. We used to make 30 gallons every week in a big bag, and we made a hole in a shower, and it had raw hands, because we were chipping away concrete with little nail files, and we're just cutting it all around, trying to get it, and we made a hole, say, that big. We ended up getting a bag, a garbage bag, big plastic bag. But then we got a net bag we made in the Unicore, and we put the plastic in the net bag, and we put it all through this hole, and we got a long tube off of a washing machine, a long tube, and that was our siphoning tube. You know, get it into the bucket. Now we put, again, depending on how much alcohol we put in there, because we used to leave about a gallon of we used to call it sludge, and it's the actual alcohol that was and that would help kick off the next batch. And remember, we're doing this every week because you have to put it in a certain spot. Let's keep going.
And the last ingredient is bread. I don't really know why, but I assume it's because the people that wrote this list on the internet thought bread has live yeast in it, which I'm not sure it does, but I'm gonna follow it.
Okay, he put bread in it. We actually put yeast. We would get yeast out of the kitchen, and just a hunk of yeast. You can use bread. Cost of the yeast helps kick off the chemical reaction in the sugar, which ferments it with the wine and the fruit, and you get your alcohol through that. But we're gonna get even deeper into this in a minute.
Now chuck it all in a bag and give it a good squish. And this smells and looks like I've had a big Saturday night. And I'm not looking forward to leaving this to ferment for a week and then having to drink it. So tuck it away in a nice warm spot, like under some towels or in the toilet. I'm gonna keep mine in bed with me, where it's nice and warm. Then make sure to check on it every couple of days and release some of the gas, giving it a good burp. Otherwise the bag will explode everywhere, all over your new, nice Silk 200 fiber bed sheets.
You don't have to do what he just did. You do let it ferment. You want it to ferment. We used to leave a little hole in the top, just a little, to let it breathe. If you don't let it breathe, it will explode. I watched one explode it did explode behind the vents in a wall, and the whole unit smelled like alcohol. The whole unit, because it expands and needs to breathe. He's right. You put it in a warm spot. No, not a bed. You used to take it and put it in. Some guys, when I was in Yazoo, Mississippi, it was brand new prison. They kind of stopped that. So we used to have this gray box that you used to put under your bed for your clothes. Well, you'd see one guy put a bag of wine maybe only 2 gallons or something like that, and wrap it in a towel, big, the gray towels, not towels, blankets, the gray wool blankets. Wrap it in that, put it in that, keep it hot. Here, his problem is usually if you walked into his cell at a certain time, while that is almost done, it's gonna smell like a fucking brewery. It's gonna smell dead like alcohol. And that's the big giveaway. They're gonna shake you down and they're gonna find it. So, we used to do everything. We used to put baby powder. We used to put all kinds of smell stuff that we can get all around the place to try to keep the smell down. It was hard because that thing doesn't quit. And as it's cooking, it gets worse and worse.
Of course, this isn't an instant reward kind of life hack. It's an investment, because after a week, you get a bucket of the most thirst-quenching vomit you have ever seen.
What are you saying is true? Now, we did it a little bit different. You then strain it, and you'll see him do this.
Just drain it through a sieve, and let's give it a taste test.
Okay, first of all, we didn't have like a drain. We would just pour it out. The stuff that he threw out that's in that bag, that's the sludge. That would help kick off the next batch of wine. Now, if you don't do it right, it might take longer than a week. It might take shorter than a week. I mean, you gotta wait till it's done cooking. When I say cooking, it literally cooks itself. And it will fuck you up. Now, what we used to do is we would take that wine that they're drinking right there, put that wine in a bag. Now that's all wine in a bag. Now it smells, it'll get you drunk. It tastes like fucking rot gut. I mean, but it will fuck you up. Well, we used to take that, put that in a bucket, a mop bucket. You know the big mop buckets? So we'd have a mop bucket. You have to keep it in the bag though. So what we would do, here's exactly how it happens. You put that in there and in the bucket, and you put a stinger in there. Now when you put the stinger in there, you boil the alcohol up and it comes down the bag. And on the bottom, you have pure alcohol. Literally light it on fire. And that's what we used to do. You could light it on fire. So now you have that alcohol down there. And we used to sell that for a lot more money. We used to get 7, sometimes 10 books of stamps for a peanut butter jar, which was $50. For peanut butter, the little ones, not the big ones, the little peanut butter jars full. And guys would then buy a soda off the commissary and pour it in and literally have like a, what do you want to call it, a rum and coke, well, whatever the fuck, it's alcohol and coke. It would fuck you up too. And I mean bad.
Now, have you ever had prison alcohol before?
Not out of a wine glass.
Not out of a wine
Not
glass?
out of a wine glass.
Okay,
Last time I
nice.
had...
Well, you're in for a treat then.
You're in
It's
for a
gonna be
treat.
fantastic.
Okay. Do you cheese in prison?
Now, obviously, we didn't have glasses in prison. We used to put them in our cup. We had those coffee mate cups. You ever see a white cup, red white cups? And they were like, everybody had them for coffee and drinks or whatever. That was everybody's go-to. And they were good because you couldn't see through them. You could put what you want in there. Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
It tastes like orange juice, which has been left in the car for too long.
See, now, if that just tastes like orange juice, they didn't do it right. It didn't cook right. That I can tell you that now. When they poured that alcohol into that thing and they did a strainer, which you had a strainer, that would have smelled so fucking rotten and like alcohol. There's no way you would have got around it. You'd be looking, wow, this shit's fucking, strong. And it would taste like shit. Trust me. And they're not showing, there would be fruit flies. Yes, fruit flies. And we fucking would eat the fuckers or take them out. Yes, ate them out. Fruit flies. And we'd fucking just take them out. And they're all over the fucking place. So you can't get around that either. So I don't think that's even alcohol in itself. Probably didn't cook good enough. Especially when the guy said, the first thing that touched on me when he said, tastes like orange juice. And shit won't taste like orange juice when it's done. Guarantee that.
It's not bad. It's a 4.
A 4?
I wouldn't drink it out of choice. There's lots of things I'd choose above it.
But if you were in prison, would you drink
If I was in prison, I would definitely drink it.
Yeah, that's good enough, I guess.
Well, I love that line. I wouldn't drink in choice. No, you wouldn't. Nobody would. You go to the fucking store and buy some alcohol. I remember as a kid, we used to get alcohol from older kids. So it's not like, you had to drink some shit like we made.
Is this safe for me to drink?
Well, it says that there is a chance you can get botulism from drinking it. But I mean,
I never heard that, getting botulism, if you can, I just never heard it. If it's true, I never heard anybody even getting sick, except drunk fucking sick and puking on the floor, which I did. A great story, my buddy Ron, love him to this day. He's an older guy. Hands, I got big hands. He had huge mug. He was about 6'4", big old dude. Did a lot of time, man, San Quentin, Pelican Bay. I mean, this dude was a real dude, real convict. Him and I were real close in prison. He used to call him my bodyguard. I would get fucked up on this shit, and I don't know how many times Ron would carry me back to my cell. Guard would be making rounds, and Ron said, man, just walk by Lawton's cell. And the guard would, it's a lot of time. I'm so fucked up, it was done. If they told me to go to my cell, Ron made sure I went to my cell. So Ron was my big old protector, my buddy, and I love him to death, to this day.
I don't want to drink anything though.
And it is disgusting, but it's cheap, strong, and a good way to forget you're serving life without parole. And if you're in college, you could totally market this as some kind of magic fermented juice. You could call it Hoochie Mama and sell it for like $10 a pop. So there you go. Spread it around the prison yard and make some friends.
You don't spread it around and make friends, you make money. We used to get a book of stamps for a cup. So we didn't have a sieve. You'd come by. We used to put them in little bags. We had a cup ourselves. It was a pint cup. So it was a pint. And we would go down, pour the stuff in a bag, and tie the bag right there. Put it in a garbage pail. Did that all day. Now we would cook half of it off. We'd cook about 15 gallons off and make White Lightning. So you used to get a pint of White Lightning out of a gallon. And you're making a lot of money. Think of that. If you're gonna cook off 15 gallons, and you're getting a pint every gallon at $50 times 15. So that's what you're looking at. It's a lot of money for us. $750 to make that wine right there. Not a bad take, especially in the joint.
So it turns out carrot doesn't ferment well in hooch, and you just gave half your cellmates the runs, and now you need a way to protect yourself. So this is the life hack for you.
Now he's gonna be making a razor whip. Now, I was really good at making shanks and making razor combs. I never ever saw this thing. And when you see it, you're gonna see why it makes 0 sense.
This legitimate, terrifying razor whip that was found around 1996 in Santa Fu jail in Hamburg, Germany.
I don't know if they ever found something like this in America. I'm sure they have for some stupid shit, but it sure wouldn't bother me or wouldn't hurt me, I can tell you that.
So all you're gonna need to make this death whip are the cheapest razor blades you can find, a shoelace, and a stick.
Now, where you getting that stick? That stick in prison, you don't just get sticks. You don't just get something like that. I think the stick would be worth more. I mean, obviously propping up stuff, making real shanks and stuff of that nature, making handles. We used to get broom handles, and we would take a broom and, you'd tell the guard, hey, it broke, and he'd say, go throw it here, and he'd watch you. But we would keep half that broomstick. We used to make shank handles, and you could carry that, or you keep the whole entire shank and everything on the yard, buried. But we used to suitcase the shank and then put it in a wooden handle that's out there, because you can't find a wooden handle with a metal detector. So we would take a broom handle, let's say a piece that big, we'd get a hole, bore a hole, and I mean, by yourself, you bore holes by taking hours to do it. With a nail clipper or something of that nature, tweezers. You literally bore a hole where you can put the end of your shank in there, and you jam it in there, and now you got something that's gonna kill somebody. And that's with the handle, pokers.
So I bought these El Cheapo razor blades as I thought this is what you were most likely to get in prison. Also, I'm cheap.
He is right. You will get those cheap ones. You didn't have a pair of pliers to open it up. We used to open it up with another razor blade, or with tweezers, and you'd get it really perfect because you could put it back together then, and nobody would even know that the razor's missing.
So I'm gonna break apart these men's single-use razors and then attempt to tie the blade onto the rope. And this already seems like a stupid idea. This is going to take a while. I got this from 6 razor blades. Like, how do you get this many razors? Do you just run around stealing all your inmates?
No, you can buy razors right off the commissary. You know, when you're on the yard, it's a lot different than in a hole. I mean, I used to even be able to shave myself and stuff like that. Obviously, it's a lot harder when you're in the hole because you can't just get what you want. You have to maneuver.
And then tie it onto the end of the stick. And there you go. This is absolutely terrifying. I'm scared just holding it. Like, what happens if a breeze picks it up? It'll just slice through me. Although I guess you don't have much of a breeze in prison, so you're all right. All right, let's test its damage. And I'm going to be testing it on this cucumber, which I've placed in a vise, which is actually a very common scenario in prisons.
Guy had me laughing. The vice and the cucumber is very they get prison. That was funny.
And I'm just going to give it a good old whip. And as you can see, I'm not the best at whipping cucumbers. And I wasn't that happy with the damage. But after watching the slow-mo, I think it would work a lot better if I threaded the razors onto the lace, running the same way as the rope. And also, just for fun, I'm going to put a big razor on the end.
I like what he did. That's ingenuity. But where are you getting that big razor? Where are you getting that in prison? You're not. You're getting the little one. I never saw a razor blade like that. I mean, you have the ones that are in an X-Acto knife you might see. Not like that one. Those are very, very rare. Again, any weapon in prison a screwdriver or a razor or something like from an industrial shop, they're checked in and checked out. They don't play with that shit. They will lock the prison down and search for that shit and not let it out until it finds it. Believe me, exactly how it works.
And look, this works a lot better. You can see as it wraps around, and then when you pull it back, it cuts through the cucumber. And I think this would be extremely effective if you managed to wrap it around a fellow inmate's cucumber. But I still can't imagine using this in an actual prison fight. But just to be certain, we're going to try it out on this much tougher carrot. And I managed to cut myself.
Ow, if that actually could work and on a man's carrot. But no, I never seen any of this in prison. Because if a guy had something like this in prison with me, it wouldn't work. I can tell you that now. And he's just gonna piss me off by really doing something small and not. How you do razors in prison, and I'll explain right now. You get the razor out of something just like that, what he did. Now you have your razor. They gave you combs. Yes, even me, no hair, you got a comb. Take the razor, and on the top of the razor, you keep slicing the one part. Keep slicing. On the top of the comb, I meant. You know, the comb is a little bit thicker on the top end. So you just keep going with the razor back and forth. You make it where you have a slot. So now you've turned the razor over and you can lay the razor inside that comb and it'll be sticking up, say, you know, very little. It's sticking up. And now you heat the plastic comb. So when you heat the plastic comb, it goes together and it holds the razor in the comb. You get what I'm saying, guys? So you gotta comb that long. You take the razor, you put it on the top like this, you keep going like this, you turn it over, put it in, you heat it, used to heat it, and push it together, and now you have what they call a razor comb. Now you keep that razor comb in your pocket. Looks like a comb sticking up, right? Just in your pocket. Now the razor part's in your pocket. You want that quick, you take it out and you slash, swam, and you could cut some. I did that to a guy in a jail and I gave him an X. The blood come pouring out. And boy, it was a sad story because the guy was really there to give me a Bible and I screwed up. But I didn't know, I was a young kid. So boom. That's a razor comb. I used to always look. We used to get to know. You'd see a guy with a razor. Now, that's not going to kill you. Trust me. I mean, it could if you went there and started cutting your carotid artery or something. But no, in a fight, you just get it. And when you're done with the fight, you're going to have it stitched up all over the place. Because you don't even know you cut. You know, razor blades cut you so quick. And boy, I'll tell you what, man, I've seen a lot of blood out of those things. Especially if a guy gets cut in the head. The head bleeds, it really does. So that's how you make a real weapon with a razor blade. This bullshit he made here, that sure is a prison hack, that fucking prison life hack that's no good. It's just bullshit, straight bullshit. Never saw one.
Now, tip number 3. Now that you have successfully intimidated everyone by poisoning them and then threatening to cut yourself up with a razor whip, I would imagine that you were the big boss in prison. And everyone's going to be trying to please you by offering you gifts and cigarettes.
This guy's a funny guy. Don't get gifts in prison. And the funny part of that part of it is the lighter part. This is making a lighter in prison. Just because you got that hooch and you got that razor, don't make you no fucking king in prison. That's for sure. Makes you a moron. But here we're going to go and see how they do a lighter.
This one-use lighter is apparently used in prisons all across the world. And all you need to make it is a battery and a pack of gum.
Well, he is right. You need a battery. I used to use a candy bar, a Hershey's candy bar wrapper, or back in the day we had cigarettes. So the top foil of a pack of cigarettes is what you need.
So I think all we need to do is get the gum wrapper and cut it into a strip and place it across the positive and negative of the battery and then wait until it heats up.
All right, look what he's doing, everybody. You put the positive and the negative into a battery. Little bit different, and this is in one of my videos. I did this on a workbench a lot better than he did it. You'll see this. All he's doing is burning his hand. How it works is you don't need to be that far apart, number one, because we used to do it with bigger batteries. You do it with a D battery, it goes quicker because it's got more juice, and the batteries last longer. Believe it or not, these batteries here will burn out real quick.
And I don't know how to do this.
What are you gonna light it to when it pops up? Again, watch the video. You take toilet paper, lights very quickly. You roll it up and you fan it almost like a rose. You'll light it up and you're gonna get a burner.
So I reckon now I'm going to cut the foil like this, so the flow of electrons has to pass through them.
Now you see what he did there, right there? He's making a thin spot where it lights. But what we used to do, you take a strip, the straight, you use a razor blade and you make that strip very, very thin. Then you kink it. You kink it in the middle. So it's like bent. Now when you put it from the positive and negative, it's sticking up and that part will pop because that's the weakest part. That'll burn. You put it onto toilet paper. Voila! Fire.
And I've successfully made a prison smoker.
See, what he's saying, he successfully made fire. No, he didn't. You need to pop that. That part where it's the weakest will pop, and that's where you get the fire from. It's smoking, but smoke don't make fire. You gotta make it where it pops. It heats so hot, it lights that toilet paper up. That's how you do that. You don't do it the way he's doing it, that's for sure. And how are you gonna put it? You know, like this, into something? No, it doesn't work like that, people.
And there you have it, fire. So there you go. Hopefully with these hot tips, your next trip to the Slammer will be a little more entertaining.
You know, I get this video. It was kind of like a fun video. A couple of guys, I guess, from Australia trying to show you prison hacks. Nah, I did the fire video. I did a shank video. Check them out in our playlist. I have not made hooch. I'm a little bit hesitant to do it because it's illegal to make hooch like that, but I just might do it. Anyway, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed understanding this. These were prison life hacks from people who don't know about prison. Now it's funny video, it's good, kind of gave you an idea, it perks the interest. But every one of those things he made them wrong. I just have to tell it. I wish them luck. And but to learn about real prison stuff, just go in that playlist, check that out. You'll see fire. You'll see other stuff about prisons that I've done, and I've done them in prison. With that said, everybody, my goal is to make sure you don't go to prison. You know that. Please make good choices. I'd rather talk to you here because there is no YouTube in prison. We now have a podcast that's doing great every Monday and Friday at 8 a.m. Monday, Fridays, 8 a.m. is my podcast called The Real Deal with Larry Lawton. It's The Real Deal with Larry Lawton, and it's on every platform there is. podcast, you know, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. Check it out. You're going to see some different great content. So we're giving it 5 days a week now. You have a great day, everybody. Stay safe, please. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you if you're not to subscribe. Please pass these on. Have a great day. Stay safe.